So I have few questions about the affordable housing moving to the rental part. We have similar Muir Woods which has affordable rental. And if you see the rent over there, it's $1,700. And if you go to other places, it's around $2,100 in San Ramon itself. So we are not really, and this is only the rental. They are not having a skin in the game. Because when we have rental affordable units, whereas people living there and buying the home, the ownership itself brings security to the community. So in this whole process, if we move all this 100 plus homes from this BR11, BR7, city village probably, if we consider this three as well as 6, 8 and 12, we are counting around 200 plus homes. And once you move from regular sales to an affordable sales, the price difference itself is $1 million plus. So we are, in short, we are giving a developer around $200 million of gift. So I think since the developer is signed by Sunset Development, they should at least list the name of the real owners who are going to benefit out of it. And this is a right of our citizens to know who are benefiting in this. And we can at least make sure that there is no skin in the game or who is the eventual beneficiary. And I think we have worked hard to get this inclusionary housing policy, the way we are able to get affordable units built by the developer. And we have spent around 5 years to build this general plan. If we throw away the general plan for one developer, we shouldn't be doing that, because that way we need to have a community where we have affordable units inside each and every place. It shouldn't be spread in one corner. So we don't want our teachers, we want our kids to come and live here, be affordably live here. That's why we have a high density setup in the core of the city. And if we are throwing it away, at least we get affordable units. That's why we build this example of having an inclusionary housing, then the developer can build it. They have to have an incentive to build affordable homes. And that's why I think a city should decline this, or at least find out who are the real owners and get all of their names, so there is no conflict of interest in any decision making, because it's a significantly high money. And all the affordable units that you see are for rental. There's a long waiting list. Even if the Muir Woods are giving less rent, there's a long waiting list there. So our teachers are not here, teachers and essential workers are not here to come and rent a place and go away. We want them to live in our community, groom our community for a longer pace. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next speaker.
That was the last request to speak. In addition to the cards, you did receive 3 written public comments this evening.
To council for any additional comments or maybe some clarification questions, or if the staff or applicant have any responses to any of the public comments they heard, we're happy to hear that as well. But let me start with the council.
Thank you, Mayor. Sorry. I just wanted to ask the city manager or city attorney, whoever can answer this, or if you need to go back and look into it, that's fine. If you could please look into the the remarks made regarding beneficiaries, who's the real owners of these properties, and the amount stated that would be a, how shall I say, a profit, I should say, the stated profit. Can you give us some clarification on those remarks?
If he's talking about the owners of the non-Sunset parcels, I think we've settled that Sunset owns the Sunset parcels. So the only ones that I think are at issue here are the ones that are non-Sunset parcels. This is a privacy issue. They did not come to the city for this application. The ownership of these parcels is a public matter, and that can be looked up. However, as far as rooting out whether or not there's a conflict of interest involved with the decision makers, we do that by having records on the decision makers' interests. And the decision makers, as you know, all file with the FPPC, the Form 700s, and we know whether or not they have interest in the decision at hand. And that is how we make sure that there is no conflict of interest in making the decision on this type of application.
And I think there's two aspects to that question as well, and I think the city attorney addressed the DMU decision because that does cover multiple property owners. But if the speakers are questioning the applications for these particular developments that are being proposed, it's all sunset. We've answered that question. We answered it, thoroughly at the Planning Commission. We stated tonight it's sunset controlling all the parcels, either through an LLC or directly.
Thank you.
Hi, on behalf of Sunset Development, just to be clear, Sunset Development Company is owned by Alex Marin Jr. and Alex Marin Sr. Those are the two entities behind Sunset Development Company. It's truly the family that has been involved with Bishop Ranch since 1978. There's no alternate people. It's truly those two gentlemen.
And could you also, thank you, everyone, by the way, on answering that question. And can you also clarify whether the stated profits that stand to be made by this are factually accurate?
Well, I can't comment on where numbers were derived from the public commenters, but I do want to say that with each, we're talking about the DMU North FAR decision tonight, and then that will enable the project applications to move forward. And with each application, we will have development agreements that will spell everything out in terms of, the units being transferred to other sites, if there's any other monetary or any other considerations to make it equitable for those moves. That'll all be determined through the Planning Commission process and approved with the development process. So it's far too early to make any definitive statement as with this move of the affordable units, X entity is going to gain or lose. That will all be in the details of the development agreement.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Any other follow-up questions from council?
Yeah, just my comments. I heard folks mentioning about issues about changing general plan. One thing I want to mention is that as the times progress, we need to adapt, right? So that we have these amendments will help us to stay relevant and also to be effective. If we don't want to become outdated. I'll give one example of a master plan when I got into Parks Commission, right? So that time, everything that we were developing was only baseball parks, right? But then there was a huge shift in the demographics. That's when I reached out to Parks Commission at that time and also the Parks Department. Then we said okay, there is a shift now. We cannot just say that, okay, come after 10 years, then we will look into it. Then we'll work on it while your whole demographics changed. That's not the way we work. So if we want to stay relevant, if we want to stay effective, then amendments are needed so that we can work through the problems that our community is facing. The challenges, we need to address those challenges. So that is the importance. I just want to make sure we understand, at least that's my opinion, and that's how today San Ramon became so vibrant, and everybody, all kind of demographics are able to enjoy our facilities.
And
so that's yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to second what Vice Mayor Burrows is saying. The general plan is a living document. It will evolve and change. It's intended to evolve and change as needs and demands change. It's not supposed to be static. Otherwise, we'd be following policies from back in, 40 years ago. And that would not be a right fit for today. So I think that I fully agree with that. It's just not realistic to think that way. Thank you.
No, we've closed the public hearing. You'll have the opportunity at the next public hearing. But I want to come back, though, Lauren, I got another question.